Teachers of Reddit, what is the most depressing thing your kids have said? I ran holiday science workshops. Filled with brainy kids as you'd expect. There was an 11-year-old girl who was brilliant at everything. The content was clearly beneath her. Very quiet. Respectful. Well liked by the other kids. Her parents were moving soon because she received scholarships to a prestigious school. Whenever her dad came to pick her up, he was obviously proud. Telling me about all her achievements. How she was in advanced classes. Just won all these sports awards too. Etc. Showed videos and photos of her winning all these soccer games. They enrolled her younger brother in similar sessions. He gave it a go in the first few but really struggled. Always the last to finish and felt his work didn't look as good as the others. Looked embarrassed to ask for help. He screamed at his sister when she tried to fix his circuit. Eventually he just began acting out. Putting off the work. Challenging me to get a laugh out of the other kids. Messing around. After a disastrous month he stopped trying altogether. He just came in one afternoon and sat there. Not doing anything. I tried to engage him in the activity and said if he didn't like what the other kids are doing, we could pick anything else he wanted to do. He said something like, "What's the point? My parents will never love me as much as they love my sister." M's. Spidey. Do you know how to get local electric company to turn your power back on? I get paid today. But they pay me on a card. So do I get out cash and get a money order? And where do I take it to? Kid was 16. But kid got their power turned back on. That day. All by themselves. I didn't do spit or biscuits but teach them how to talk to people in call centers and make the introduction to the CSR. And then later their power bill got reduced. Because the school social worker has programs for that sort of thing. The local power company sent them some energy saving free stuff. Including some light bulbs. Kid and their siblings had been short some lights at home for a while. And we got their water and sewer discounted as well. School social workers are pal. Their surviving parent was trying. It's just hard with a parent of their own who isn't well. That many kids and 2 fast food jobs. Kid is in college now. Damn near full ride. Commutes from home to save money. Puts their housing stipend towards the family rent. Utilities and gas for their own old Toyota. Their parent looks like they just took their first breath in 10 years. I'm proud of all my students. But especially that one. My mother was a teacher for nearly 30 years. She spent the last 10 years at a middle school that was pretty hard up in the Tulsa public school system. She had a very good student who came to school every day in the same clothing. We can call him Jay. The clothing was always washed, but even so around halfway through the year, his clothing was becoming tattered and stained. The other students began to notice and make comments. The school tried to give him clothing but he refused. He would not accept a handout. A few teachers came up with a plan for the school, put on a contest where the winner was given some new, very nice school clothing. This contest was set up for Jay to win. This way he could have new clothing and not feel as though he was given anything. Jay won the contest. He accepted the new clothing gladly. The next day he was still wearing his old clothes. My mom asked him why he was not wearing the new clothing. Those are my trophies. I have them hanging on my wall. Rips my heart right out of my chest. Assignment was to write a poem about something you like to pretend. Student's poem started, "I like to pretend that I have friends." This was in 1st grade. Middle school. They went on a field trip yesterday and one kid was sad because they wouldn't be at school so he wouldn't get lunch. They were fed at the field trip. But he was totally concerned that he wasn't going to get fed that day. Principal, to class on day 1. Kindergarten is not like preschool. Attendance matters. It's very important that you be here every day. Kindergartner, what if you have to get a blood transfusion? I won't be in school tomorrow. I have court. I get to wear a pretty dress. Why are you going to court? Well, The judge has to decide whether or not I go back home to mommy and daddy or stay with grandma. Who would you rather be with? Probably grandma. Mommy and daddy never had any food in the house. She's 6. I sincerely hope she got to live with grandma. Not a teacher, but a counselor for kids in the foster program. Kid, why does everyone else in my class have one dad but I have different ones all the time? Foster program can be really tough on kids. Because you're a good kid and everyone wants to be your dad. Exactly. I teach pretty much exclusively college freshmen and by that point they all have that fatalistic sense of humor anyway. But it gets real sad when they get to the end of their rope. Nothing specific that I can remember. But a lot of why did I think I could make it in college, I'm too stupid for this, I should drop out, and they actually mean it. Stuff like that. Monday however, a student asked to talk to me before class and said, I know this paper is important and all and I don't want you to hate me, but I couldn't get my paper done. And I'm used to this sort of thing. I mean, it's just natural. But then he take a deep breath and blurts out, my dad called me last night and told me he was leaving my mom and moving away, so he's leaving me too, and I just couldn't deal with it. I'm really sorry if you're mad at me. It just hits me hard when they have to deal with more than they should, and on top of that they think I've formed a personal opinion of them and that I'm going to think badly of them based on something like this. 5-year-old preschool girl with 103-degree fever. Sicker than sick. She begs the nurse, please don't send me home. She was allowed to sleep in the nurse's office until the end of the day. That was about 2.5 years ago. A few months later she was removed by CPS and has been with the foster family, me, for nearly 2 years now. Student, Mary won't be here today. Her mom died last night. Me, wait. Didn't her dad pass away a few weeks ago? Student, yes. Both parents died suddenly within a few weeks of each other from different medical conditions. My sister didn't wake up today. Her sister complained of headaches the night before because she hit her head. Parents didn't think anything was seriously wrong. They took her off life support a few days later. She was 9. Her sister? 5 years old. Me, so. What are you most looking forward to when you go to college? Student, oh. I've never had my own bed to sleep in before. Me. That's more common than people think. I never had my own bed as a child either. Had to share it with my brother till I was 11-12 years old, lol. A 6-year-old preschool kid took my hand and wanted to show me something he had drawn. The drawing was in dark colors and sort of angry looking. He explained that he had drawn his heart, which was broken and hurting very bad. He said it wasn't any fun when his heart hurt like that. He was often being excluded from the group by his classmates. Sometimes even bullied. He didn't have the social skills to communicate well with his friends, which led to him being very misunderstood even though he always meant well. Student, I want to play with my friend today, but her dad died, so she can't come over. Me, oh no. I'm so sorry to hear that. Student, yeah. My mom said God is punishing her. I explained that God does not punish people like that and it is not her friend's fault that her dad passed away. What is wrong with people? Miss. How come you didn't have any kids? I didn't want any. But you're gonna die alone. Nothing like a 9-year-old throwing your greatest fear right in your face. Don't worry about me, 9-year-old. We all die alone in the end. I once had a student who was struggling to read and he said to me, MS. Bloopin, what's the point, I'm stupid. Had a kid read a story about a dog being cloned, but she latched onto the part where the dog died and started bawling. I took her out for a walk to calm down and asked her if she had any pets. She used to have a dog, but it chewed a shoe so her parents gave it away. She used to have a cat, but it scratched dad so they gave it away. They had a lizard, but parents forgot to feed it and it died. On and on and on. This string of horrible pet owner stories. I really regretted opening that can of worms. But it did take her mind off the story and she stopped crying. Not really something he said. But when I was tutoring a Somali refugee student, he was 15 years old. The students were told to draw pictures of their background or life. I think he drew pictures of houses on fire.